Hey there everyone, welcome back to Oh Brother Comics, and welcome to our 10 and 10 video. Now that's the video where we take 10 books that came out this last Wednesday, we go ahead and we read them and give you our thoughts on them. Well, we try and get this knocked out in 10 minutes or less, so let's stop wasting time and get right into this review.
All right, first up for me is Buckhead #1 by Boom Studios. This is written by Shobo and illustrated by George Kambade. This story has a lot of intrigue and definitely a lot of potential. It's like a modern day Jumanji. It starts off confusing, but as the story goes on, the author does a great job at providing context without giving away too much. There is a lot going on, many different details that feel like they are connected, but since it is the first issue, I have no idea how. The cliffhanger at the end really roped me in for the next issue, and my rating for this is a 3.6 out of 5.
The first book I reviewed this week was The Dark Knights of Steel #2. It's written by Tom Taylor and art is by Yasmin Putri. This, I have to say, Yasmin is doing an amazing job with her artwork. It is just beautifully done and it fits the story so well. And Tom Taylor's writing is definitely got me on the edge of my seat. There's tons of action going on. In this book, we get an introduction to a bunch of new players, we get more information into what's going on, and we're introduced to the Kingdom of Storms, who is ruled by Black Lightning, and he is the one that contracted Green Arrow to kill Jor-El. So I don't want to give too much of this away because I'm really enjoying it. Guys, you should definitely pick this up. This is like DC's version of 1602, and it's just so good so far. I have high expectations. I rated this a solid 4.4 out of 5 this week.
What's up, everybody? The next comic book that we will be talking about is Lunar Room #1. This was a really fun modern day fantasy story. It's full of vampires and werewolves and all kinds of other legendary creatures. I do like the modern time timeline that the writer uses. That was a really cool aspect. We do not get a lot of insight into this first issue. The story feels a little bit slow, but we get a really cool main character who seems to have lost her ability to turn into a werewolf. She meets like a mage that kind of helps her with that, sort of. But yeah, I feel like this could be like a really good run. It's like I said, it has very interesting characters. I feel like it has a really high ceiling. I give it a building 2.8. It was really good foundation, and I just want to see more from the series.
Up next for me is Cyberpunk 2077, You Have My Word #2 by Dark Horse Comics. This is written by Bartosz Stybor and illustrated by Julia Brusco. Hopefully I said those names correctly. So apparently the dates for these issues are just all messed up. Issue 3 was originally supposed to be out in October, but for now we have the first 2 issues and the third is coming at the end of January. So if you like cyberpunk or the cyberpunk world or just the futuristic sci-fi, you will definitely like this comic. It is very well written and it has amazing visuals. I absolutely love the colors in all of the cyberpunk media, and this comic plays out just like a quest in Cyberpunk 2077, and I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to find out more about Maria, or I guess Teresa now, and what her ties to Night City are. That's the main character for those who haven't read it yet. But my rating for this issue is a 3.7 out of 5, and this is my pick of the week.
The next book I reviewed was Batman 118. It's written by Joshua Williamson and art is by George Molina. Again, the art that George Molina is doing in this book is just so well done, and I just can't get over the comic books I read this week. Like, the art has just been amazing for all these artists. But I can't leave out Joshua Williamson because he does a great job at least giving us a nice start on where he's going to be taking the Batman story after Tynion's run, which I enjoyed immensely. But this just basically starts off with everything that we love about Batman. He's out in Gotham doing Batman things up until he hears about Batman Incorporated. Well, it looks like they may have killed a character named Abyss, and now he's on the case. And for whatever reason, Lex Luthor seems to be the one that is backing them. So it's going to be interesting to see where Joshua takes this story. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's a great start. I gave it a solid 3.8 out of 5 this week.
All right, the next book we'll be talking about is Nyx, NYX, Nyx #2 by Dynamite Comics. I really enjoyed this comic a lot. Right away, I was sucked into it. I was loving the witty banter and the action and the art. It's like a really funny comic, but not like in a slapstick kind of way, just really well timing. That kind of goes with the writing and the dialogue. It's like this half human, half demon chick, and she kind of goes to this hell type scene to go fight her father, who's the god of chaos. And that was just like really cool conversation between them. Again, it was very witty and bantery. And I really like kind of the duality that is posed in this comic that her father kind of poses to her. It's really cool. I really want to read the first issue because this was number 2. I want to get caught up. I want to know more about these characters, especially Nyx. It looks like she's going to cross paths with like Vampirella and like all that crew in the next issue. So it's going to be kind of cool times. I look forward to that. It's just a really enjoyable, fun comic, and I give it like an absorbing 4.2.
Up next for me is Daisy #1 by Dark Horse Comics. This is created, written, and illustrated by Colin Lorimer. So I'm not sure if this is necessarily my cup of tea. It is a religious thriller that centers around what appears to be a cult composed of what I'm assuming are kidnapped children. It's very well written and the visuals are absolutely stunning. The comic itself is very good. It definitely kept me on the edge of my seat. Personally, I just don't like this genre. It's too real for me, and I like to sit back and enjoy comics that I can escape into. I give this issue a 3.5 out of 5. I won't be picking up the next issue, but the comic itself is very good, so if you like religious horror or thrillers, then definitely pick this up.
For my next review, I read Mighty Morphin number 14. It's written by Ryan Parrott and art is by Marco Reina. I am absolutely loving the Eltarian War. This is just such a fun story and it is action-packed. The art is amazing. Marco Reina is just killing it on the art with this. And Ryan is just doing an amazing story, just keeping us engaged and really bringing some new lore to the Power Rangers. In here, we get Billy's redemption arc. If you remember my old reviews, you see that he's kind of on Zordon's shit list, and they really work it out in this book. I am loving this, guys. Get on it right away because it has been amazing. This is my pick of the week. It's a solid 4.8 out of 5 for me.
Okay, nerds, the next book we will be talking about is Two Moons number 7 by Image. This book was awesome, and it's not really what I expected at all, sort of in a way. I always enjoy like Western movies, Western, like just the West, like the old Western styles is something I'm always really attracted to. I'm a huge sucker for historical fiction, so anytime I see anything like that, like I'm always gonna like gravitate towards that. It's just like a gruff Western story with a lot of action. It also has like a lot of really cool elements of like racial tension that they bring into it. Like naturally in those times, there wasn't like a lot of friendliness between like black, white, and natives. And they're all in this story and they're all interacting. So it's kind of, it's cool to like see that. So even with like all of that, like it's like an action packed, it's a cool Western feel. It kind of has these like deeper, more meaningful messages that are going on. But then suddenly they throw like supernatural elements into the book. Like there's like mystical powers. There's like a meteor shower of like zombie Native Americans. And I don't know what happened at the end, but it was really, really cool. It was really done in a well way. This is definitely my pick of the week. I give it like an off-guarded 4.4, and I will be definitely going back and catching up on this series and following it further.
Last one for me is Star Wars Crimson Reign #1 by Marvel Comics. This is written by Charles Soule and illustrated by Stephen Cummings. So this story reads as if Charles Soule intended for it to be a novel, but was forced to turn it into a comic. It's just kind of disjointed and it feels rushed. By the end of it, I even almost forgot that the introduction is set in the future after the fall of the Crimson Dawn and the fall of the Empire, and that this story is being told through a holocron being accessed by the light side of the Force. Hopefully by the end of the story, we actually get to see who is accessing the holocron. But anyway, the story itself is just very rushed. There's a ton of detail, a ton of events, a ton of narration that's coming from this entity that is, or from the archivist through the holocron recording. But my main problem is Kira. This is almost the sequel trilogy all over again. The somehow Palpatine returned. With this story, it's the somehow Kira knows everything that's going on in the galaxy, even stuff that Palpatine has never been able to discover the answers to himself. So I'm sorry. I really wanted to like this story because I loved the Solo movie and I loved Kira as a character. I really enjoyed the War of the Bounty Hunters run and the tie-ins, but shoehorning all of these details to try and fit an event into a timeline that already happened just doesn't work in this sense. I'm hoping that the future issues help to alleviate some of my concerns. I will still be picking these up just because I am a sucker for any Star Wars content, but this issue really disappointed me. I give this one a 2.5 out of 5.
Well, all right, guys, we got through that review. I hope you all enjoyed the list that we put together for you this week. We had so much fun reading these books and just giving you our thoughts on them, and we look forward to doing it this coming week. Guys, please leave us a comment down below and let us know what books you've been reading and what you've been really excited to get into, because we'd love to talk to you about them. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you all later this week with our pickup video. Have a great week. We'll see you guys later.